Hi, my name is Mecca, and if this is your first time tuning in, I make a lot of lock content. Can't even say I make anything else because most of my videos that do well are about my locks. So, welcome. And today's video is documenting my fourth year with microlocs. I've had them since March of 2020, and as the title kind of says, we have not been in our best era, okay? I've run into some problems, I've run into some things that have not had me enthusiastic about the journey at this point, but as you'll see in the video, I'm just gonna break down what went wrong and what I'm doing going forward. So let's get into the first mistake I made. So if you've been on this channel, you know I've had a couple hair colors, right? The most recent one being red, and then I went back to black by putting some Adore dye over the permanent red. I believe it was permanent or semi-permanent. And as that black Adore dye faded, it faded into a murky, ugly green color that I could not stomach. So what did I do? I was like, I don't want to bleach it. I don't want to put any more permanent dye over it. So I'm gonna go on YouTube and I'm gonna find a way to remove this color quickly without bleach, right? So I made a concoction of developer, baking soda, and blue dish soap. Put that on my locks for like 2 hours or an hour, and it was the final nail in the coffin for a lot of my already struggling locks. Weeks after I've done this process, and it worked. Like, I got back to a color that I like, but at what cost, you know? I ended up like spotting locks that were literally hanging on by a thread that needed to be cut off because they were breaking at the parts that were bleached. Like, you could see it was like darker, and then the blonde, and then dark or whatever, and at that blonde little patch, it was gone. The integrity of the lock was just destroyed. So I had like 3, 4, 5 of those locks pop up, and more to come because I can tell my hair is thinning in the places that took too much chemical. So dealing with a little chemical cut, a little chemical damage, and it was all by my own hand. So I was just kind of like, maybe it's time for this journey to take another direction, right? But I was like, no. Let's not cut it. Let's just cut the damage, let it grow out, and see where we go. So I'm not touching any more dyes, no more chemical processes. I'm minimizing heat. I'm done with abusing her, really. So that was kind of the major thing that has been really like testing me, and something I wasn't really expecting, even though I should have known. Like, you dye your hair so many times, it's going to be damaged, point blank period. There's really no way to get around it, but I just was not prepared for the areas that it would affect, like my kind of crown here and just other pieces that were just not easy to hide, I guess. And so yeah, next thing that has kind of had me down in the dumps, hence the dark makeup, by the way. This is a theme, okay? But it was the haircut I gave myself. And I don't know if I talked about this in the last update, but I wanted to even out my layers, and I'm not a professional, obviously. So I gave myself a little jank haircut. So now, instead of like the natural cute layered shape it was falling into, it's like higher on this side, kind of thinner looking on that side, and it's uneven, and it's not my favorite look. And so I regret that a bit, but fortunately it is growing out, and between combining just the natural way my hair grows and everything, I'm not as pressed about that mistake. But it is just like, dang, like, can I get a break? Like, why do I keep doing this? So yeah, so that was trying. And then obviously, like, I'm still having that continued struggle with my perimeter locks, and either those like unraveling or being too soft or just breaking off or whatever. Like, I just have spots on the perimeter that are just loose natural hair at this point, and I think I'm just gonna let them stay that way until it's like they're really long and strong, because I can't keep locks in certain areas. So between all that, I just haven't been feeling like the same love normally I would have for my locks. I've been feeling a bit bored at moments. I've just been like, dang, like, is this still for me? And then the reties are just taking longer. It's a lot. It's not an easy phase for me right now. And I just signed on to be my mom's loctician. So that's a whole other journey, which I'm excited for, but I definitely want to get mine back in a healthy and strong place. in the midst of that journey too. So that's gonna kind of be what we focus on this channel for a bit, is just the recovery mode, the healing mode, and getting these babies back to the strength I know they can be. I just need to leave them alone. No more color, no more intense treatments, nothing. Like, I'm just gonna grow out what I have, appreciate what I have, and let them be and stop experimenting. I probably just need a therapist. I need to stay out my hair and get a therapist because I like to play too much. And nothing's wrong with experimenting with your hair, but you have to be ready for the consequences, and I was not. So yeah, so that's the honest truth of where we are. I didn't want to come on here and make any other video before I addressed what's really going on up in my head. So now I'm just gonna give you guys a little 360. Oh, before I do that though, in terms of routine, everything is still the same. I wash once a week, retie closer to 7-8 weeks, and that's pretty much it. I don't steam as much. I'm gonna get back to that though, and I'm gonna start deep conditioning again to kind of give my locks the moisture that they need after doing that last treatment. So yeah, so that is where we are at, and I hope y'all stay tuned for the recovery journey. I think it will be something that is just a good lesson for me to learn and hopefully share with you guys if anyone has been in a similar predicament with their locks. But I'm not leaving yet. I'm not quitting the journey. I still am so glad I made this decision for my hair. But you live and you learn, and I made a couple things that I would consider mistakes now. But there's nothing that I can't bounce back from, because just like me, my locks are resilient, and we gonna keep pushing. So let's get into this 360 so you guys can see a little bit about what I'm talking about. Appreciate the length because it is growing. But I think in all this, I realized that I do actually care more about like the integrity and health of my hair over having just inches. So yeah, but let's get into this 360. All right, so that is it for today's lock update. Again, I thank you guys so much for tuning in and bearing with me. And I do really intend to get more consistent. But like I said, I wanted to just recap you guys on my 4-year lock anniversary and how I was feeling around that time and why I went a bit MIA. But I do promise to be back with some more content semi-regularly on this channel soon. So thank you guys for staying tuned, and please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe below to keep me motivated to keep going. Okay, bye guys.